Today, we're jumping into the life and work of Kurt Gödel, who was easily one of the greatest logicians since Aristotle. And his life was this incredible paradox. On one hand, staggering genius, and on the other, just profound tragedy. This was a man who totally reshaped how we understand truth itself, but in the end was tragically consumed by his own mind. Wow! I mean, praise doesn't get much higher than that, does it? This is coming from John von Neumann, another absolute titan of the 20th century. He didn't just see Gödel's work as some smart discovery. He saw it as a permanent landmark in human thought. It really sets the stage for what we're talking about here. So, who was this guy? How did one person manage to find a truth so deep that it sent shockwaves through not just math, but philosophy and even the foundations of computer science? Well, that's exactly what we're here to find out. To really get a grip on the monument Gödel built, first, we've got to understand the world he was stepping into. So picture this. At the start of the 1900s, mathematicians were on this epic quest. They were looking for ultimate certainty. Brilliant minds like David Hilbert were totally convinced that they could build a formal system, a set of basic rules or axioms, from which every single mathematical truth could be proven. It was this beautiful, really optimistic dream of absolute knowledge. And right into the middle of this quest walks our guy. This is Kurt Gödel. He was born in 1906 in what was then Austria-Hungary. He was a quiet but intensely curious young man who would soon become the single most important figure in this entire search for mathematical truth.
And here's the part that just blows my mind. His age. He was just 25 years old. While he's at the University of Vienna, he publishes a paper that completely torpedoes that quest for certainty. 25. Can you even imagine?
So what was in this bombshell paper? Well, it contained his now famous Incompleteness Theorems. So what did they actually say? This is the absolute core of it. Gödel proved with airtight logic that for any logical system that's strong enough to do basic math, there will always be statements that are true, but that you can never ever prove using the rules of that system. It's not that we're not smart enough to find the proof. It's that the proof literally cannot exist inside that system. Some things are just true, but unprovable. Let's break that down. So mathematicians wanted a system that was two things: complete, meaning it could prove every true statement, and consistent, meaning it would never contradict itself. Gödel's first point was a gut punch. You can have one or the other, but you can never have both. His second point was that if a system is consistent, it can never actually prove its own consistency. It's kind of like trying to see your own eyeballs without a mirror. You always need something outside the system to verify it. And just like that, the dream was over. The search for absolute certainty came to a screeching halt. But the thing is, Gödel didn't break mathematics. Not at all. He just revealed that it was infinitely more mysterious and way more complex than anyone had ever imagined. So a proof this stunning had to come from a pretty fascinating person, right? And he was definitely that, but also deeply complicated. So let's take a look at the man behind the logic. This just says it all. From the very beginning, his own family called him Mr. Y. That unending curiosity wasn't something he learned, it was just hardwired into him. He always needed to understand things at the deepest possible level. His life was completely wrapped up in the turbulence of the 20th century. He's studying in Vienna, this amazing intellectual hotspot. He marries the woman he loves, Adele, even though his parents completely disapproved. And then he's forced to flee his home as the Nazis rise to power, eventually making it to safety in the United States. And where does he end up? Princeton, New Jersey, at the Institute for Advanced Study. And there, his closest friend, his daily walking partner, was none other than Albert Einstein. I mean, can you just imagine those conversations? The man who showed the limits of logic walking with the man who redefined the cosmos. But here's where the story takes a really tragic turn. Because for all the incredible order and clarity of his work, Gödel's inner world was just descending into chaos. And this is the central paradox of his life. This just lays out that brutal contrast perfectly. On one side, you have this logical mind, capable of building the most rigorous, unshakable proofs in history, just monuments of pure reason. And on the other side, a man so tormented by paranoid delusions that he was convinced there was a plot to poison him. His only safeguard was his wife, Adele. She had to taste every single meal before he would even touch it. By the time of his death, Kurt Gödel weighed just 29 kilograms. That's about 65 pounds. In the end, the paranoia won. His brilliant mind, which could see the very limits of logic, couldn't save him from itself. The final chapter came in late 1977. His wife, Adele, had to be hospitalized for about 6 months. Without her there to test his food, Gödel simply refused to eat. He starved himself to death, a victim of the very paranoia that he had battled for so long. So what are we left with? After this paradoxical life and monumental work, what does it all mean for us today? Well, his legacy isn't one of destruction at all. It's one of revelation. He showed us that any system of knowledge, mathematics included, has a horizon, a limit. And just beyond that horizon, there are truths that we can see, but that we can never formally prove from within our own system. And this has massive implications, especially for us now. It means there's no such thing as an ultimate answer machine. No algorithm, no supercomputer can ever solve everything. There will always be a place for human intuition, for creativity, for that leap of insight that machines can't make. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If even the perfectly ordered world of mathematics has truths that are forever out of reach, what does that say about our attempts to find absolute certainty in our own messy, complicated world, in things like ethics or politics or our own lives? Maybe the real quest for knowledge isn't about finding one final answer. Maybe it's about embracing the beautiful, infinite incompleteness of it all.